Parliamentary reporter dictation number 27 and the dictation speed is 150 words per minute. Ready? Start. With regard to the various policies enunciated in the budget and the taxation and the various incentives offered, I have nothing more to comment on as the entire subject has been covered by the honorable member analyzing each and every taxation, the incentives and the impact of such measures on the entire nation. It is an admitted fact that when we embrace both the private and public enterprises and we plan according to the policy by accepting these two together, we cannot satisfy the entire lot of the people by any measure that has been chalked out to plan our future. So it has been extremely criticized by the honorable members opposite, especially the communist benches, that the entire budget represents what they, in their standard critical way, call the Anglo-American capitalists, with such a tendency to criticize even if a measure is introduced to curb the use of cosmetics or something of that sort. The same type of criticism you can hear from that side because it is a section which does not make a factual study of a measure that is introduced in the House. It is a section which supports only those measures that matter to its interests and not otherwise, and thus it directs all its criticism against otherwise beneficent measures. Madam, there are certain measures in the budget which concentrate on help to the forthcoming of capital for the development of industries. In the same way, we have certain measures introduced which are aimed at decentralizing capital so that the economy may be a socialist one at a later stage. All these are mixed up, and so all of a sudden we may not be able to say what will be the impact of all the measures that are envisaged in the budget. So madam, I have again to congratulate the finance minister for having chalked out certain policies that are conducive to a socialist economy. Now Mr. Misra has given an analysis of the various measures and their impact. That is his view. But the finance minister has also taken into account the impact that they would have on the nation as a whole after the introduction of these measures. I congratulate the finance minister for his sagacity and foresight in chalking out policies that will be conducive to our economy, the socialist economy, to be established in our country within a short period. Madam, I do not wish to talk much on the taxation and other measures, but I wish to bring to the notice of the Honorable Minister some of the important needs of the country which should be given priority when we consider the working and implementation of the budget that is placed before us. It has been said to be the policy of our government that primary education should be made compulsory throughout the country, and to see that within a short period illiteracy is wiped out from our country as a whole. Madam, as a result of the great efforts that we had made, we have been seeing that the children of the have-nots are attending schools which are now open to them with all sorts of privileges. But still, all the children of the have-nots are not attending the schools because these children are also asked to work for the maintenance of their families. So, madam, it is my suggestion that along with the implementation of the existing schemes, we should have the residential system for those children of the have-nots so that they may be brought under some supervision so that until they complete their primary education, we may have these children under some discipline. Similarly, madam, when we think about the implementation of the educational schemes, we will have to think in a national way. It had incessantly been brought to the notice of this House that it is highly necessary that we should have a national scheme for secondary education. This national scheme is absolutely necessary to effect national integration. If, according to the present policy, each and every state is permitted to have their own regional language as the medium of instruction. I fear, madam, that at a later stage the people from the south may not be able to understand what the people of the north say at a joint conference about the various aspects of education, with the various changes that have taken place in this country in the matter of education. And suppose some people educated in the south go to the north for a conference at the national level, the people in the south and the north may not be able to understand one another, what the different people have to say on matters of education, and some may not be knowing the languages in which the other people speak. So, madam, it is my contention that there should be one and the same language as the medium of instruction throughout the country. So, I do not say that the present medium of instruction should be continued forever. The Planning Commission has repeatedly emphasized in its sixth plan report the importance of ensuring that the backward classes get adequate benefit from the general progress, and that the special programs financed from plan provision should not be used as substitute for the measures necessary to enable these classes to get due advantage from the general progress. But no attempt is, however, made in the mid-term appraisal to assess how far these recommendations of the Planning Commission was effectively implemented by the central and the state governments. There is reason to believe that, as before, adequate benefits did not accrue to the backward classes from the general progress. No doubt some significant progress has been made in the field of education, but here too shortfalls are very glaring. Our speed in the direction of literacy has not kept pace with the increase of our population, and today there are more illiterates in India than there were in 1951. The mid-term appraisal itself confesses that the standard of education, both at the primary and at the secondary stages, has gone down. There has been no improvement so far as the discipline of students is concerned. No attempt whatever has so far been made to cultivate in the students the democratic spirit, to educate them in the art of democratic citizenship, to befit them for discharging their duties as democratic citizens. Despite the recommendations of the Radhakrishnan University Education Commission and of the Mudaliar Secondary Education Commission, the social ideals of education are yet to be determined by this government, and attempts are yet to be made to reorient our educational system on the basis of those social ideals. The directive principles of state policy required that by January 1961, provision for free and compulsory education for all children up to the age of 14 was to be made by the state. I do not know if even by the end of 7 5-year plan it would be possible for us to provide free and compulsory education to all children up to the age of 14. It is but obvious that in the last 2 years we have not made any significant progress in achieving the social objectives of the Constitution laid down in the directive principles. It might be maintained that I have enlarged the scope of the special objectives. The Planning Commission had no business to limit the scope of the social objectives of the Constitution. It has only to implement the directives for the state. Secondly, I wish to point out that in the sixth 5-year plan, special attention was invited to three objectives. First, as citizens, men and women equally have the right to adequate means of livelihood. Second, the ownership and control of the material resources of the community are so distributed as best to serve the common good. And third, the operation of the economic system does not result in the concentration of wealth and means of production to the common detriment. I beg to submit, madam, that no progress whatever has been made even in regard to these three social objectives chosen by the Planning Commission for its special consideration in the sixth 5-year plan report. Madam, I may point out that the directive principles of state policy also require the state to pay special attention to the promotion of cottage and rural industries, and even in the sixth five-year plan report, considerable stress was laid on this matter. But have we really made any significant achievement even in this matter? The mid-term appraisal confesses that there has been a certain decline in the production of gur and khandsari and vegetable oils.